Welcome to Living a Life by Design. It's the journey back to you and living 365 days of purpose with your host, Esther Graham. Did you know your accountability and possibility is by design? God designed a phenomenal life for you, gave you the gift of choice. Esther helps empower you to discover and pursue the purpose that is already in you. Are you ready to look at yourself and see your future? Then get back to what is really important in life and get in alignment with your true self. Stay tuned to Living a Life by Design. Journey back to you and start living 365 days of purpose with your host, Esther Graham. It all starts now.
Hey everyone, welcome to Life by Design, living your life by design, practicing to live 365 days of purpose with your host, me, Dr. Esther Graham. And today I have a very special guest, Danita. I always say her name wrong, but I'm going to try Sajous. I believe I said it. She'll correct it for me. Okay, guys? I'm only human. But listen, Danita is a master neurotransformational life coach. She is a retreat facilitator. She is awesome. Well, let me go back. She's an awesome facilitator. She's an awesome life coach. I had met Danita, I think it's been about 4 or 5 years now. And I have just watched Danita not just grow in everything that she's doing, but just like blossom into this beautiful, beautiful flower or butterfly. And what I absolutely love about her is that she's just a great human being. She is just a great person to know. Always positive, always upbeat, always has something great to share, and is so transformational. So I want to introduce you to my friend. She's my friend, Danita. And so Danita, please reintroduce yourself. Prepare yourself for a juicy, powerful conversation on the importance of self-care to your mental and emotional wellness today.
Wonderful. Thank you, Esther, for having me. I'm honored to be here and to be a guest on Life by Design with Dr. Esther. And self-care. I'm a hypnotherapist too. So I took the journey myself as a student in the work. And I feel like I'm going to talk about age for a second. I'll be 61 this year. A lot of people say, what do I do? And I think it's the self-care, it's the internal cleansing that shows out on the external. And I treat self-care like an appointment. And in my career of life coaching and hypnotherapy, I hear a lot. And so what's my avenue to actually give myself the mental, spiritual, and healthy journey so that I can support the world and support my clients. So I scheduled that, Esther, and it's been a delicious journey. And my schedule's very my self-care. I rather work later in the day. So I see clients after 11 a.m. and all that whole morning is my 5 miles of walking. And I think walking is not just for exercise for me. It's my creative space. Yeah. It also gives me download with my spiritual being and God for me. And it is a place where I connect with friends during my walks. So it's connection, it's resetting my day. And I can tell the days I walk and the days I don't walk. So, that's who I am. Just a chick from New York City, living in sunny Florida.
I love when you said internal cleansing and the self-care appointment. So let me just go back. Danita, can you pronounce your last name? Because
Sure. You're okay. It's Sajous, like juice, Sajous.
Sajous. So guys, what you may not know is Danita is Haitian by you were born there, right?
No, I'm a second generation. So my dad is from Haiti. My mom was American, but she spoke the language, cooked the food. And I was a child curious about my culture. So I would spend my summers there, 2.5 months since 8 years old. So, je connais parler Creole. I speak Creole. Je parle français. I speak French. So I'm a little bit of a cocktail, and I speak English as my native tongue.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think that's what brings I think that's what just adds to your beauty is because I love how you embrace your culture, right? So, all right. So let's get on to the subject. I just wanted to make sure that we got and people just got to know you. So you said that self-care. Two things. I wrote it down. So everyone, when you see me looking down, I'm writing, I'm checking Facebook. I'm looking to see if anyone's commenting, because please comment, please love on Danita and let us know, especially if you have anything that you want to say. Put it in there. If we can't answer you right away, we will definitely get back to you. But Danita said that self-care is an internal cleansing. Can you talk to us a little bit more about that? What's that internal cleansing? What does that look like for you?
Well, one thing I know is I can't take this journey by myself. And so I hire experts. I have a coach. Though I'm a coach, I have a coach.
Right.
Though I work out, I have a health coach. So I hire the professionals to guide me because I can take myself but so far. And so I've been in this work as a student, as having a coach for 15 years. And I'm still have a coach. And so I know I can't do this journey by myself. So that's one piece, hiring and investing in myself and my self-care to get the job done. The second thing is I make sure that what I do for self-care, I enjoy. I'm not a gym person, though I need community for workouts and things like that. And then my walks every day are for connecting with nature. And like I said in the beginning, so I think the coaching piece is cleaning up unfinished business. Yeah. Whether it's my childhood, relationships with siblings, anything that's unfinished, I've been working on diligently for 15 years. And Esther, honestly, I feel like I've come to a point of not trying to change anyone, but accepting them for who they are so that I can continue to build the relationship. It's taken me a minute, but I've arrived. Yeah. And there's still going to be new relationships and new situations that are going to come up. And that feeling of peace, and it goes as far back as reuniting with my ex-father-in-law and my ex-brother-in-law, 17 years later after my divorce, and finding him on LinkedIn and saying, "You've been on my heart." And he said, "I've been waiting for this day." Oh. It's things like that, relationships that are important to me that I had to remove myself from. But when especially with divorce, it's a whole package. It's not just the two individuals splitting, it's family splitting. Yeah. And how do you navigate that? Yeah. So just going on this journey to go clean up shop. Yeah. But it took me a minute to get there. So that's walking through life without regret. Yeah.
It's funny that you said that, because about, that it doesn't stop, and, going back and even cleaning up some things. This morning, I sat to do my newsletter, and it's basically what I spoke about. I was speaking about how transformation is continual. And I said, I am transformed. And I referenced, I remember when I began this path of personal development and transformation, and you were there at my very first retreat, and so I said, I am transformed. I'm being transformed, because transformation is being, you're continuing to do it. And I shall be transformed, because things are going to happen in the future. And there's some things that we still have to work on. So I began to talk about, building relationships, and how I discovered there were still pieces of relationships that I needed to clean up, you know? And so still working on that. So I'm still on this path of transformation. So I'm still transforming right now. And I know as I continue on this journey of life, there are going to be things that will come up that I still need to be transformed on, that I still need to work on. And so as you're speaking about part of that self-care and that internal cleansing is that transformation and being at peace with it and being like, yeah. So it's not that I'm not good. I'm good. You know, I spoke about I'm divorced as well, and I'm good with that, you know, but cleaning up some things from that, you know, and going back and saying, you know, these are, yeah, let's have a conversation.
Yeah. And you can do the cleanup with keeping the person's dignity intact.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a beautiful thing, and it's a skill set, and it's, you know, and it's, can I accept this person for who they are, not what I expect.
Yeah.
Like, and when we let go of the control of what a sibling should look like, what a ex-father-in-law should look like, what a friend should look like, and let them be, then we can fit back in with no expectations.
And you have to really work. I know for me, you have to really work on that. It's not something that comes boom.
Like, no.
Me just, I mean, for me, you know, it's taken years, you know, and it's still, you know, to where it's like, okay, you just have to keep working on it.
Decades.
Yeah, because really the work is really with you.
Yes.
It's your internal cleansing. It's your internal that really you have to work on, and then being very self-aware, becoming very aware, I believe, of where you are right now. And now it's like, for me, it was being very aware, saying, now I can work on this.
Yeah. And knowing that you have a part in it as well.
Yeah.
So, and the only thing you can control is you.
Is you. That's right. That's the only
thing. When you
thing.
can do that, then you can release.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The big part of the internal cleansing. So you said, you know, in the mornings you go on your walk, and that's a part of your internal cleansing, that morning time that you spend just getting in contact with you and with God. I call him God as well. For me, it's God. It's God. And so getting in contact so you can be very clear. And if you don't begin that internal cleansing, then you could tell how your day, when it's done, let's say appropriately, because that's when I do it really well, my day can go really well. When it's not really good, it's like, ooh.
I agree. That is so true.
So maybe this is not today. I told someone earlier, I said, yeah, I'm having a great day today. And I thought, oh, yeah, because I spent that time that I have to do that internal cleansing, as you call it, which, by the way, I have to tell you before we go on a break, my mornings are clear. I don't do anything. I don't like to take any calls, even from my staff. I define emergency for them. I really don't like any meetings before 10 a.m. unless if I can control it. But I really got that from you, I have to say. I can't remember exactly where we were, but we were in a meeting. We were talking, maybe it was at the retreat, and you were talking about this is how you set your morning. And I was that person. I start my morning, but if this thing happened, this person texts me, they called me, I'm like, boom, 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 you know. And so my mornings would always be fragmented.
Right.
And I really wasn't serving myself. And I remember my husband said to me one time, do you realize they call you every morning and they really mess up your day? And so you're not getting that time. And I was like, yeah, I remember that. And it wasn't until like when you began to talk, it all came together. And I said, no, I'm going to do that. And I've been doing it now for years and it has worked out great. We're about to take a break, guys, and we'll come right back with Danita, where we're going to continue more juicy, delicious conversation on self-care, the importance of it, and your emotional and mental wellness. Be back in a second. Welcome back. Welcome back to Life by Design, Living a Life by Design with my guest, Danita. And we just ended the last segment with talking about internal cleansing. So we're going to continue that. And Danita, please continue teaching us, telling us about what internal cleansing looks like and the categories of
Yeah.
and the 9 categories of internal cleansing. So please share with us.
I love that. So every year I do a little survey on my life just to see how much I've grown. I think what you can measure, you can celebrate. And so it's this wheel of life. So I'm going to give you an example. Our life is like a bicycle wheel, right? And so on the outside is rubber, and then there's spokes out to the rubber, and right in the middle is you. And when we can tweak some things, everything that touches us improves. When we can untangle or get the help to untangle our own knots, everything changes exponentially. So there's this wheel of life, and it's not just about exercise and supplements and protein shakes. It's one of the categories is your physical environment. Where you live, the car you drive, is it chaos? Is there mail piling up on the dining room table? I know for one thing that I'm tolerating is my house is pretty much looks put together, but my bathroom counter with the makeup and the whole thing is a hot mess, right? And so every year I take an assessment of what am I tolerating? What am I stepping over? So your physical environment is really important. And then your body. That's one another success. How do you feel about your body and how it functions? Is there shame and guilt around it? And so how can we clean that up in our self-care as well? It also goes out to financial. What is your healthy relationship to money?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not money, it's your relationship with it.
Relationship, right.
Right. And what did you hear growing up? Because most of our beliefs around money have to do with what we heard and what
money
we
don't
want.
fall from trees.
Yes. And cash is king.
Yeah.
How I grew up, right? If you don't have the cash, you don't buy it.
You don't buy it.
Yes. And then we talked a little bit about relationships and cleaning up some unfinished business. And what is your part to accept that person or not accept them? And how to set, and then your spiritual connection, which is super, super important. I call him God. You may call him something else, but what is the higher being that you report to or have a relationship with? And then how you feel about yourself. What's the internal conversation with that? So all of these spokes in the bicycle wheel are part of the internal cleansing, because if one avenue is let's say you rate them from 1 to 10. If I remember when my financial one was a 0, so my bicycle wheel will go clunk, clunk.
Yeah.
Clunk, 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 because my relationship with money was so bad, and I wasn't making money and I didn't have money and I was afraid of money and I didn't know how to create it. And so touching that, it's scary, but I touched it. I touched it with a financial coach. And every time I had an appointment on my calendar with her, what showed up, Esther? Irritation, agitation, and discomfort. Every time I would just be like this on the phone, because when we're irritated, it shows that there's change happening, there's transformation happening. And the first part is irritation. So just knowing that there's more than just supplements and exercise or weight release, there's a whole piece of self-care and internal cleansing that we need to assess.
Yeah. And what I hear you saying, that when there's breakage, let's say when one isn't functioning, then it turns everything, it's lapsidated, and it does affect everything else that you're doing.
Yes.
Yes. So when you're speaking about the relationship with money, if your relationship with money isn't, let's say, solid or positive, forward moving, then it can affect your business. It affects your lifestyle. It affects every single thing. It even affects your health, right?
Yes.
And then how you see yourself on that piece. So it's important to make sure in that internal cleansing that we're taking care, we're touching the areas that we're afraid to touch. We have to lean into them.
Yeah, scary but true. And there's hope.
There's always hope.
I think back, and it's not too long ago, Esther. I'll talk about the money piece and leaving direct sales to be in this dream called
Right.
life coaching, and going from money to nothing, and trying to figure out, how do I pay my mortgage? And I don't have children, so it was just me, but I had a mortgage. I needed food and shelter. And I
Right.
put my humble hat on, and my girlfriend had a wine company, and I sold wine at Whole Foods, at all the major retailers. And I'd come with my table and my tablecloth, and I would bump into friends from my direct sale business and friends from my ex job. Danita, what are you doing here? And I would be, I'm living my dream. Wait and see. Would you like Chardonnay or Cabernet Sauvignon? Like, I'm telling you. And then I would sell so much wine in 3 hours that the companies would ask me to train their people. I sold Australian grass-fed steaks. I mean, I took that journey, you know. I had public assistance for healthcare and food stamps for 6 months. Like, I was following this dream, but I jumped out too quick.
Right. Right.
And so I put my humble hat on and figured out, what do I have to do to generate and be comfortable with money? And I did whatever I had to do to keep my mortgage. And I look back, and I look 8 years later, and my life is unrecognizable. I stayed in the work. I stayed in the irritation. I stayed in the resentment. I stayed in the guilt and shame until I could, with a professional, reprogram my relationship to all of it.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So
Unbelievable.
powerful. Yeah. Yeah. So powerful. And since then, one of the things that you said is that because of that journey, because of that internal cleanse, and because of the importance of it, you've also created to where your self-care now is now scheduled. You ensure that it's happening. So even when we speak about the money part where you've came from, that's a part of your self-care that you actually schedule. Is that correct? In terms
Correct.
of continuing moving forward with your money, moving forward with your finances, which then affects everything else.
Yeah, I had to. I mean, on this little life wheel, you can rate it 0 to 10. And I put a -2 at that point in my life. And now I'm an 8.
Yeah.
And so, and I have a financial coach. I just met with a wealth person I'm in retirement years. I'm not retiring, but I'm in retirement years. So I'm trying to get information of how to maximize my Social Security, or so I'm gathering information so I'm knowledgeable of what's ahead and what I need to prepare for. I'm preparing late, but it's not too late.
Well, I think that's really important. What you just said is that you haven't retired, but you're preparing. You're preparing late, but you're preparing, and it's never too late to start. And that preparing for your future, your retirement, that's a part of self-care. I think we don't see that,
Absolutely.
especially in our culture, let's say. We don't see the importance of preparing our financial wealth. That's a part of our self-care that, believe it or not, alleviates the emotional and the mental stress.
Ooh, say it again. So huge. And, long-term health care.
Yeah.
God forbid something happens.
Yeah.
Where, if you need nurses or whatever, what does that look like? And are you preparing for it? Yeah, I just been on this mission of curiosity.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to my local libraries where they have meetings about tonight is Social Security on Zoom. How do you
Yeah.
maximize? I
Yeah.
heard the name Social Security. I know I pay taxes against it. I've been paying taxes for my whole life. But what does that mean? So just gathering information. So, like you said, my mental and physical health is not wondering.
Yeah.
I think information is power.
Information
Now,
is
I
power.
may use it, at least I know.
Yeah.
And then my goal is to really share it with my siblings and my nieces and nephews,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they're young enough so that we can all benefit and not wondering in the future.
Yeah, I think so. I know, like for us, Danita, I'm 62. I had to think for a minute. And so in April, I'll be 63. But it's like a couple months ago, or like sometime in 2023, it's like, oh, you know what? I'm in my 60s. Like I could literally retire, but I don't want to retire. I'm not at retirement age. And so I did this. I began looking at what's my Social Security? What's this? How can I build more, and really began to shift and do some things to where, you know what, I really need to ensure that, the 401k is good. All of these things are good. And so, and when I began to do that, I found that in terms of my self care, I just felt better about some things. And then there were some things I said, okay, I need to do this because I need to make sure that, my children are fine. So I have 4 grandloves. I wouldn't need to make sure that my grandloves are fine and what other grandloves I may get. And so, yes, I found that has been just such a relief for me. Let me just make sure that when it's my time to transition, there's absolutely no worry. But while I'm still here, I want to live extremely comfortable when I can't get out and do the things that I love to do in terms of coaching and all of that anymore. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Information is power. And I'm just gathering.
Yeah.
I may be the youngest in the room at these seminars,
Yeah.
but my hand is always up asking questions.
Nothing.
And I want to know.
You want to know, and there's nothing wrong with being the youngest in the room in your 60s. I joined the community center, it's called Modern Maturity, and I used to go to the water aerobics for my exercise, and I was definitely the youngest, and they were all 80s and 90s doing, but I felt so good. I was the young one, and they were teaching me, and I was listening to all this powerful conversation wisdom. Be the youngest in the room in your 60s, because you're going to gain so much just from listening. And just think,
Yes.
again, what you're saying, by the way, everyone, this is everything in your self-care. If you're thinking my finances is not where it needs to be, it's not too late to change. Lean into that irritation, lean into that fear. Don't be afraid to touch it or touch it being afraid. Just shaking and just touch it, because it's never too late, no matter what your age is, to start getting your finances in order. Yeah. We're about to take a break, and we're going to come back and talk some more about self-care. Welcome back to Living a Life by Design with my very special guest, Danita, and we are going to continue our delicious conversation on self-care, the importance of it, and how does it connect to our mental and our emotional wellness. And can I tell y'all, we have talked about everything, and believe it or not, it all works into how we live our lives by design, because we have the power to design the life that we so desire. It's really up to us. Many times we say, oh, I've talked to God, or I've prayed, or I'm just going to leave it. No, 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 no. He's saying, I'm leaving it to you. You get to decide. You're in choice of how you live your life, right? And so self-care is so important. And so what I'd like for you to share with us a little bit about the importance of making your self-care appointment, the importance of you taking care of you first. And so what many of you may not be aware of is that Danita is a platinum coach, a platinum facilitator on the Motivating the Masses campus, Lisa Nichols. And she co-facilitates with Lisa on retreats and many other projects. And she is phenomenal. But what I love about what Danita does is that she says that, her self-care in all of that, knowing the importance of it and setting it on schedule, and the importance, as she said earlier, she's a coach and has a coach. The importance of having a coach, a mentor, a motivator, someone that's going to walk with you in this journey called life, that's going to help you in the transformation, in the self-care of your emotional wellness and your mental wellness. So can we talk about that just a little?
Yeah, I think it's huge to have some sort of mentorship because we can't see our own blind spot. And we can take us as far as we can take us, but then there's this whole other level that we can't see due to our beliefs and how we grew up and all of this stuff. So it's really important to have that mentorship to push you gently with irritation and knees knocking, teeth chattering to get you to the next level. And I know Lisa and I work closely together at several things, but there's this one event that she goes to, which is called the Unicorn Club. And it's where all the big players, the 9-figure women come to gather. And I've been invited. And I've been the small fish in the room, uncomfortable, not quite sure. I know that these women are building empires. I want a business, not an empire. So I'm very clean with what I want. Yeah. But just to sit in the room and just listen and be the smallest fish in the room while you observe, right? Or being invited to Airbnbs on the beach and mansions and just looking, right? Just looking, just observing, also being the smallest fish in the room but being exposed. And I think there's something to do with exposure. I remember my girlfriend built a beautiful house in Indiana and I walk around, I go, Now I've had a house, I've had houses, and then I moved to Florida and I love renting because I don't have to worry about anything. My garbage disposal goes out. There's a guy to come fix it. I need my windows cleaned. They clean them. And I had been in all these homes and I'm just looking, and I've always wanted to live in the tropics and have a tropical dream home. And by being in these environments that made me uncomfortable, I was able to purchase my dream tropical home last year. And as I'm sitting in it, looking at the pool right here, it has been a dream come true. And I say that because you can take yourself, like I'll say, as far as you can go, but having a mentor that sees more in you than you see in yourself.
Yes.
And allowing you to grow gracefully and knowing that they'll be your bumper rail, that they won't let you fall, has been an absolute blessing. And in this journey of self-care, Esther, I trust myself. I trust Danita. I trust Danita in love. I trust Danita with money. I trust Danita, her yes is quicker when being invited to play big on platforms. I trust Danita when I'm invited to tell my story on big stages. I just say yes, and I trust myself. And so having a mentor is unexplainably important. And sometimes you get irritated at them because they push you out the nest.
Push and push and push.
And push and push and push. And knowing that I'm grounded in Danita and that I'm not trying to be a carbon copy of anybody else. They've asked me to do something to show up as Danita. And please, audience and everyone that's listening in, be yourself. It's the greatest investment, and your intellectual property, only that you know what to do, is the best investment. And so I say that because trust yourself. Yeah. And in that you will soar. So
I love what you're saying because I think when we're speaking of self-care, many times we're in the mindset, it's getting our nails done, it's that mani, it's that pedi, it's the massage, it's those things, which it's inclusive of all of that. But what you're speaking of is even going self-care at the deepest level. You know, where you're saying now, because I've been in these environments, because I have really put myself and I've really done the work, I can now trust myself. I trust my pickers. I trust what I'm doing. I say yes faster. All of that is self-care to get to whatever it is your dreams are. That dream home, if you didn't do self-care, would you have had that dream home?
I trust myself in the purchase. And it was very interesting because I wasn't eager to find a home, but I knew if she found me, I'd find her. So I just looked. I wasn't in the bidding war. I'm not interested. I knew she would. And Esther, when I walked in here, I said, I found her. Calm. 20 other people rolling up into the house doing the thing. And before I left, I was the first one there for the open house, last one to leave. And I go, let's give them the asking price. And everything was calm. I knew then.
Yeah.
Everything that to set it up, to purchase it was so calm that I knew I made the right decision. Do I trust my decision? And I'm a kinesthetic feeler. I make decisions. I'm not a researcher. I wish I had a little bit of that. I feel my decisions.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit different. And I pray and I feel. Yeah. And that's how I make my decisions in life. Rarely do I research.
Yeah.
And so I trust my intuition. I call it my Holy Spirit, the messages and the voices I hear inside.
Yes.
To know that you'll be okay.
Yeah.
And it's working.
No, I was going to say, I love that. And then because of that, you're comfortable with those decisions. You're comfortable with who you are. And here is this, again, y'all, self-care. And while you're in that room, God has blessed you. You're in the room where you can look and say, oh, yes. And so you're learning and you're getting all this knowledge, but you're not comparing yourself. As you said, they're building empires, which is great. But I'm very clear that I just want a business. This is what I want. And I love that because part of that self-care is exactly that. I know what I want.
And I think the other part of the journey of internal cleansing and self-care is, what do you like?
Yeah.
What puts a smile on your face? What lights you up? And my beautiful girlfriends in this room are like, Danita, why don't you do a podcast or build a sales team and we'll hire you and blah, blah, blah. And I go, no.
Yeah.
No, that's not it. Like, I know the 3 things that are my jam.
Yeah.
And I stay in that because, Esther, for me in this season, I want to have fun, make impact, and income.
Right.
And when I can do that, and you'll feel the energy when I'm in my jam.
Yeah.
It attracts.
Nice.
Yes. It's that dance. Took me a while. Yeah. But I'll take it. That's why I said I'm not ready for retirement. Yeah. I'm just beginning.
Yeah. I love it. I love it because whatever your self-care looks like, you have to make sure that you're committed to that. But you also have to make sure that it is self-care. Because some of the things that we call self-care is really not self-care. If it is stressing you out, if it is not in alignment,
say that again. Alignment.
In alignment. Speak to that. Well, tell you what, we're about to go on a break. We'll go on a quick break and we'll come back for our last session or segment and we'll talk about alignment. And then Danita is going to share where you can connect with her. So we'll go on a quick break and then we will talk about alignment, which is so important to your self-care. Be right back. Welcome back again, everyone. We are here with Danita. And so let's get started with our conversation. Danita, let's talk about alignment. So let me tell you about a rule I have for myself. I've always said to God, and I live by that. I don't chase anything. My prayer is always, God, if you want me to do something, if this is for me, then you will bring it to me. I will not chase after it because I have to be in alignment. When I'm out of alignment in one area of my life, I'm out of alignment in everything for me. And so let's talk about that, being in alignment and not chasing, but letting it come to you, what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, alignment, misalignment. Let me talk about misalignment first. Misalignment is very sneaky, especially when it's about you and it doesn't align with you. So when you say yes, when you want to say no, you're knocking yourself out of alignment, which starts to develop into resentment. And so there's a lot of clean boundaries that need to happen. And a misalignment with self can show up in different ways for some people. It can show up as depression. It can show up as resentment. And so all of these alignments, like checking in with yourself and knowing that your yes could be a strong yes and your no can be a strong no. And people, this is what most people are afraid of. People will adjust to your no.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of people want to keep you where they met you. And you get to apologize and say, oh my God, I am so sorry that I gave you the impression that I'm available after work every day to pick up your son. I apologize for that, because we teach them how to treat us and then we get mad. And so alignment is so huge. And I'll tell you about a quick journey I experienced last year in terms of business and alignment. I told you I identified the 3 things that I think it is fun. And I did my human design. And human design is they ask you your birth date, what time you were born, what city, and it spits out who you are created to be on earth. And it's more spiritual with chakras and everything. And I realize I'm a projector. And a projector is, I wait for the invite. I don't chase, like you said. I never chase. I just need to show up physically and people choose me. Now, I watch my peers figure out how to do business with sales funnels where they're reaching out to capture, you can call it chase or hunting, which is totally fine. It's out of alignment with who I am. And I never put it together, Esther. And when it spit out and it told me who I am. So when I am on stages, I've been watching, I call it the ballerina moment. I move myself, you know how ballerinas twist like this with their hands. So I've been watching myself this year to prove that I'm a projector. So when I'm a webinar, when I'm on a stage, I notice Instagram goes up, LinkedIn goes up, I get DMs. People say, I want to work with you. I go to networking events live in my neighborhood, and people like, oh, I'd like to work with you, or I'd like to work with you. So my marketing funnel is just me being visible, virtually or in person. And I was having a lot of guilt around that because I'm watching some of my peers struggle with getting clients and knowing to stay in aligned with who I am. And watching the evidence roll in, Esther, has blown my mind. I don't chase. If someone doesn't want to work with me, I go, great, I'm not going anywhere. When you're ready, I'm here. I don't meet objections. I don't do any of that. And I'm still able to create a nice income in my business. So I say all of that. So just check in. Check in with yourself. It doesn't sit right. It's okay to say, And my typical thing, my friends and my peers know, I go, not so much. No, thank you.
Right.
I'm really brutal like that. I go, no, thank you. It's out of alignment. I'm very clear. And I did a survey that tells you how to build wealth in business. And I know I'm a star. There's different levels. I'm a star. I just need to be with the people, and I know what to hire out. That won't shut me down. So it's been an interesting journey. I don't chase anything. Esther, you're my sister. I don't chase either.
Yeah. Not
and
at all.
very peaceful.
Very peaceful and and even with doing my retreats, again, I have one that's coming up in May in Dubai. And when I met with marketing, and Danita, I'm not that salesperson to get out there and, hey, and I'm like, well, we'll continue doing what we're doing, and then it'll come. Who's supposed to be there will be there, and all is well. I told someone, I said, I'm not worried about it. I'm just not worried.
The train is taking off. Jump on. I think in business and in life, you must keep people at choice.
Yeah, have to.
My job is to offer, and it's your job to choose.
And I might not be
powerfully.
Choose powerfully. Yeah. And I might not be the person for you, and I am good with that. And so I guess that's just where I am. You spoke about what you want to do in business. Part of mine is I have to enjoy what I'm doing. It cannot be like work for me. When it feels like work and I'm stressed and all of those different things, I'm walking away very quietly from it. And I will shut down. That's who I am. And so when I'm not chasing and it has to come to me, it has to be in alignment, that means I'm going to enjoy every last piece of it. And not that there's not stressful moments. You understand?
Sure.
It's life. There's stressful moments, but I'm not living in the stress.
And the stress, again, leads to disease and cardiac arrest and high blood pressure. And it is just
discombobulated and hard to get along with.
Yes.
Hard to get.
Shows up everywhere. Shows up in all aspects of the wheel that we just talked about.
It does. It does.
It spills over. And so being in alignment, I think, is just everything. How does that feel to you? Just check in. If it's not for you. And the way that a lot of companies are marketing, they're marketing cookie cutter formulas that don't resonate with your soul. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so if you're forcing a square into a circle of a cookie cutter method of how to scale your business, it's not going to feel well. Mm-hmm. So if it doesn't feel well, your consultation calls won't feel well. People won't choose you because you're out of alignment.
Yeah.
And so do yourself a favor and find out what puts a smile on your face. And it doesn't have to be for money. Like my passion is children. I was a Sunday school teacher for a long time, 3 to 8-year-olds. They gave me energy for the whole week until the next Sunday.
Yeah.
It can be, volunteer time.
Yeah.
Balance it around work and then give yourself some rest.
Give yourself some rest and make sure that whatever you're doing, that you're enjoying it. That's a part of your self-care, that you're enjoying what you're doing and that, you're having fun. For me, it's my having fun. It's, I want to build wealth. I want to do all these different things, but I must enjoy what I'm doing. I have to be happy to see you. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Danita, share with us how we can, how the audience can reach you, and then just tell us, and I think you already did really, but if there's anything last that you want to share before we end our time together today.
So you can reach me at Danita Sajous. It's spelled right here on the Zoom, DanitaSajous.com. That's my website, or at Danita Sajous on Instagram. I post my life on Instagram. I don't post my business. Again, I don't chase. And so you'll see my lifestyle and fun and whatever's fun to me, I post it. That's important to me. And 3 tips to end the conversation. Choose you. And when you choose you, and choose you means give yourself some time, give yourself some rest space, invest in yourself so that you can be the person that you've always meant to be. Number 2, I would say, be gentle with yourself. Give yourself grace and ease. There'll be peaks and valleys. And make sure your expectations aren't too lofty, because the subconscious mind loves accomplishment and loves to win on a daily basis. So make your checklist little wins to get to the bigger goal.
Right.
And number 3, stay in movement. Your body will honor you for that. The human body, the heart pumps blood 3,500 rounds a day. Give it something to fight for. Help it out a little bit so that you can live a long, long life.
Powerful, powerful. Thank you. Thank you so, so much for joining me today. I appreciate you so much. Everyone, thank you for joining me today. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend, wonderful rest of the month, and we will see you again on the 2nd and the 4th Fridays of every month. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you check out my website and even my retreat. But go to www.fddwomen.com if you'd like more information. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I will see you soon again. God bless you. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to Living a Life by Design, the journey back to you, and living 365 days of purpose with host Esther Graham. Listen or watch live every 2nd and 4th Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Discover that what is possible is already in you. God designed a phenomenal life for you. Esther helps you ignite that energy behind your personal journey for a deeper joy and peace, living 365 days of purpose. For more information on living a life by design, visit fddwomen.com.